Hello. Well, it has been a bit of a while since I've done a tape because I've been too busy enjoying the wonderful summer that we've been having in Scotland. It's been a rare one. I'm only joking, it's been terrible. Anyway, I thought, I've read a lot of things recently, watched a lot of things recently because been stuck in the house a lot recently because of the poor weather. And I was just thinking about, I'm reading on Facebook so many times, so many people, literally, my heart goes out to them, as so many people are like leaving the witnesses. And they just don't seem to have anywhere to go, and they're just, luckily they're getting a lot of good response when they post on different Facebook pages of people who genuinely are trying, who are interested in their well-being and will try and help them so that they don't feel so alone. But of course it's been 17 years since I left the witnesses, so it's funny enough, all that should be behind me by now. It all should be behind me, you know. But funny enough, it isn't. On a daily basis it still bothers me. And for lots of different people, they'll have lots of different reasons or feelings why, or what leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, what the worst aspect of that is. What's the worst thing about finally leaving them? And for different people, there's different things. So I can only give my own perspective on this. And it's only something that recently, when I've listened, I don't know why I do this, I've listened to a lot of JW broadcasts, not the actual site itself, but because I've been watching the John, I've got a book out, don't you know about it, Cedars channel. Lovely bloke John. I actually am, the work he puts into it, but he does mention well, his name's really Lloyd, but Lloyd does mention he's got a book out every once in a while, but the work he puts into it, you know, I wish him all the success in that. And what he's done is he produces a lot of the a lot of the witness videos through his own videos, so it's the first time I've seen this, and I'll come back to that another time. So I've watched a lot of these videos, these witness videos, and it's only by doing so that it sort of it really annoys me. And also when I had the witnesses that came to my door, and I recently saw witnesses out in their cart in my local town as well, and I just feel like going up to them, absolutely shaking them to hopefully make them see sense. But of course, you're not going to. It's not going to work. So the thing about leaving the witnesses, which was in my respect, I find the worst thing about leaving them, is that in respect to how at the time when I was a witness for, you know, nearly 30 years and right up to being an adult, how I thought I was so enlightened, how I thought that I was so reasonable and so knowledgeable and so learned and an authority on what's really going on. It's as though somehow there was this key, and I'd unlocked the secret of what life really is, and I thoroughly believed the explanation given by Jehovah's Witnesses, and I truthfully and honestly believe that. And by believing what they said, then empowered me to go and do what I did in my life after that point, and put up with what I did, and career choices and education choices and choices with friends and choices where I lived and choices of what I watched and what I played and all the rest of the things which I've gone in the past. But what I find extraordinary about it is that a lot of us today look at atrocities that are committed by people who belong to a fundamental religion or an ideology, or to a particular political persuasion or nationalistic persuasion, And you think to yourself, oh my God, my God, how can they do that? How can they do the things they do? How can they do it in all good conscience, go and do the things they do, which quite often end up with people being hurt or being killed? And you think, how could they do that? You know, surely somewhere the humanity in the person must kick in, so they must think, no, I really can't do this right now with it, whether it's, you know, cutting off somebody else's head or blowing themselves and children to pieces. You know, that you think something would kick in. And the thing about it is, we also look at what's happening in World War II as well, and how could people do what they did then? How could, you know, people a few years beforehand were just decent, normal people, family guys, all of a sudden, you know, they're in charge of a concentration camp, they're involved in that process of killing 6 million Jews. And you think, how did you get from that stage to that stage? What happens? And the thing about it is, fundamentally, it's what happens when you're involved in a controlled environment where all of a sudden you believe in something, and then you believe then that you say to that person or that group or that charismatic leader, and you say to them, you tell me what to think, you tell me what I should believe in, and that's what I'll believe in, you tell me. And that's what I did for all those years. And yet I believed I was more enlightened than anybody else. I believed that I had the truth. I firmly believe that. And so when other people would reject you at the doors, I'd say, well, they're not rejecting me personally, they're rejecting the message, and I'll be laughing at them because, oh my God, and you'll be dying, you know? People at work making the mick out you because you won't go to somebody's birthday party or Christmas, and you think, oh well, it doesn't matter because, you know, you're going to die at Armageddon because you're laughing at me, but I'll be laughing at you. And it's just really bizarre, because you thought, or I thought, that we knew the truth, that there was no point in a college system or educational system or seeking a career in industry or on your talents, whether it be an athlete or footballer or a musician or whatever it is, or if you believed firmly in a particular political party and you wanted to do something to change your locale, or if there was some sort of charity or something that you think you can involve because you really wanted to help maybe people overseas or people in the community, that you were encouraged to say, no, there's no point in that. This world is dying, this world is going under. The only thing that you need to get involved in is with the preaching work. Everything else, forget it. And yet, you believe you believe therefore that the witnessing work, the preaching work, was the most important work being done today. Unbelievable. So you'd forget about all your, you know, the natural talents that you had and the things that you could really have excelled in. Instead, it was to chap indoors, trying to flog the watchtower in your wake. Can you believe it? You know, can you really believe that that's what we did? And that's what I've struggled with so much, because I really believed that I had the key. I felt enlightened. I felt that I knew it all. I really knew all. I had a grasp on the reality, what we see today. But unbelievably, I was totally under control. You know, brainwashing is a heavy term to use, but in essence, I was conditioned. I was conditioned to believe everything that a bunch of guys in New York told me what to believe and what to do. And I never questioned it until, as we know, years after being in the organisation. I firmly believed it. The strange thing about it is, more than anything, is that when we'd go to people's doors, we'd say to them, we'd ask them to question their faith, to question their beliefs. We'd ask them to do it by using our literature and say, well, you believe this, but let me use this literature here of ours to question what you believe, to show that it's wrong. But if they came out with a publication, imagine if they came to our doors and say, oh, you're a Jehovah's Witness. Yes, actually, do you realise that what you believe here is not true? Let me just show you can I just show you this little magazine article here? You go, oh no, no. that's apostate. So it's bizarre, isn't it? It's so contradictory. Whereupon you'd go willingly to somebody's doors to give them publications to try and show that their religious belief was completely wrong. But if they gave you some sort of tract, or they tried to teach you about how your religious belief is wrong, you'd say, oh no, I can't because it is apostate. And that's all about control. That's all about control. That's how the witnesses have survived so long. That's how the witnesses have done what they've done for so long, because they've put that rule down. They're not really allowed to examine anything else that may give a contradictory viewpoint to what the Watchtower says. And the moment you are known as somebody that does do that, or is being to consider a differing viewpoint, or even assuming your own viewpoint without bothering anybody else, we know at that point all of a sudden you can be labelled as a bad association. You'll get your privileges moved very quickly, and if you keep on, even if you're trying to keep them to yourselves, they'll ask you, what's your thoughts about this? Do you really think the governing body, you'll know, even if you keep to yourselves, you'll be out on your ear, labelled an apostate, and you're booted out. And so you're feared to do that. And it's bizarre, because that's exactly the way like charismatic leaders do it, that they get people to believe that they're, the sole channel that God's using, some sort of Jesus-like figurehead. This is how you get, fascist leaders have worked in the past, how they've managed to somehow con a whole nation into some sort of nationalistic fever pitch of believing that they are blessed by God, and that God's somehow working through their country, and they must go on to other countries to dominate them because God's working with them. It still happens today. And yet you think all the while that you're a witness, that you're a logical person, that you have got your fingers on the pulse of everything, because Jehovah's Witnesses tell you to do that. They say, look, keep on looking at things in the world, see how prophecies are being fulfilled. So you think that you're observing things more than anybody else. You think you're more educated. You think that you have it. You've understood it. You've unlocked the secret. You've gone through the phase and the fog of every other religion, every other political persuasion, every civilization, every personal belief. You've got it. You've got the truth. And you haven't. All you've got is somebody else's concept of what they believe the truth is, and they condition you in that way. And the worst thing about it is that you do not even see how you have been sucked in. You don't see it. You really don't see it. And that is the worst part, I think, about when you leave Jehovah's Witnesses, because at some point, it may not be immediately, it may not be a few years later, as in my case, and it was years later, and probably only recently, that I've realised, because I so distanced myself from Jehovah's Witnesses, because I really, you know what I mean, I so far didn't know anything to it. It's only now when I've watched the videos, the witness videos on Lloyd's channel, I'm watching it, I'm struggling to keep my breakfast down, because I think, oh my God, goodness sake, and you listen to the things they're saying, and you're thinking, oh my God, how are people buying this crap? And you can see how they're manipulating the audience. They say Jehovah every other word. It sort of empowers what they're saying, enforces the fact that that God's using the organisation. If you keep saying God's name so many times, Jehovah this and Jehovah this and Jehovah this, somehow people go, oh well, it must be from Jehovah because they're using the word Jehovah. Oh my God, I may say the words, I'm the greatest bass player in the world all the time, but it doesn't really mean it's true. But apparently with Jehovah's Witnesses, if you say Jehovah, Jehovah, every 5 seconds, it somehow, you know, it gives you the right to say, yes, Jehovah's using this organisation. Hold on a second, I need to just do this. My God, it's hot. So that's why. It's only when I'm watching, because I think it's worse now. I think now if you're coming out as Jehovah's Witnesses, I think it must be worse because of all this JW.org. Oh my God, before it was all like reading, but now it's on tablets, it's online. It is like, it's bizarre. It's just unbelievable. I'm literally, and the worst thing is, those music videos, oh my God. Those, have you seen those music videos? Goodness sake, it is truly horrific. It is truly awful. I'm thinking, my God, there's Jehovah's Witnesses that are just going, oh, it's wonderful, brothers. What a wonderful job the brothers have done by bringing these crap music videos full of these terrible, terrible lyrics and cheesy tunes. Oh, I'm going to go and sing them. It's just unbelievable. Oh, it's like they've just. It's like the witnesses are saying you've got to remove yourself from the world, but they haven't removed themselves. They've looked at all the manipulative things that the world has to offer, whether it be, you know, music videos or the internet, and they've used it to then keep the witnesses controlled. It's unbelievable. It's just, I look at those, the JW.org, I look at those music videos, and I look at the things that they do, and I'm thinking, can this really be the same organisation that I belong to? That even going back when I was with them, when you looked at exposés on American evangelical TV evangelists, and you just thought to yourself, oh, thank God we are not like that. Thank God we're apart from that. That all hours of the preacher working, going to the doors, and we're not using the media to try and to tell our story. And now I look at what Jehovah's Witnesses is doing now through the John Cedars channel, and I just think to myself, wow, you know, it's like controlling every part of your life. Now it used to be just like reading the magazines, but now it's like, you know, just it's your tablet, your phone, you know, your laptop, it's there 24/7. It's just unbelievable. And I think this is the way the witnesses now, I think because of what's happened, I think because they know that because the problem is with the witnesses, I think they thought it was a good thing by putting everything online, but the problem is you just type in the wrong words if you're a witness. You might actually end up on an apostate channel, and next thing is, oh my God, you know, they've just now made it easier for Jehovah's Witnesses to actually potentially get a different viewpoint. Because people are going to go, whoa, I've seen this, and all this has come up here. And I know that's the case. I know, for instance, my own brother accidentally found me online. And my brother's still a Jehovah's Witness. He accidentally found me online on one of my videos because he's probably trying to search up a witness thing. So there you go. There you go. That's it. That's why I think, personally, me leading Jehovah's Witnesses, that's the worst thing about it. It's just to come to the full realisation of how controlled I really was, how I was completely manipulated by these blokes in New York. And the worst thing of all is that when I see these videos today on JW.org, that I just realise how they have gone into, you know, they've just completely eclipsed manipulation. They, you know, it's just unbelievable. I watched a program about the Church of Scientology, and I was thinking, oh, the same thing. You know, what's the same thing? The music videos, all the slick video productions, and this and that. You know, I'm thinking, oh, horrific. And then a few months later, I'm watching JW things. I'm thinking, who produced these? Is this another Scientology, you know, music video I've stumbled on? But it's not. It's Jehovah's Witnesses are doing the same. It's crass. To me, it's awful, and it's just horrible. And to just think those witnesses are taking this in, thinking how wonderful it is, how Jehovah's working through the organisation. It isn't. It's some slick willy production that people are getting taken into, because with the music in the background and all these figures, they're just tugging at people's heartstrings, and people think, oh yes, 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 oh, Jehovah's use them. It's not. Just it really isn't. It's just a slick production, just like they used to do with, you know, just like that lassie used to do for all Hitler's greatest hits videos, you know, all the nationalistic fervour and all those lovely shiny shoes and the hats and the signals and everything. It really, whoa, let's go. And that's all it is. It's just working on people's emotions. That's all it is. It's a slick willy production produced by Jehovah's Witnesses to keep the witnesses within the organisation conditioned. I don't think it'll work for other people who are non-witnesses, because I think they'd look at it and think, and with a cynical eye. Interestingly, when you're Jehovah's Witnesses, you believe you are a cynic. You cynically look at everything in the world, and you criticise everything, not good enough. Satan's behind that, Satan's behind that. But bizarrely, you criticise everything in the world. You criticise everything in the world, from the top to the bottom, from families to neighbours to works to education, political systems. People have good motives or good groups to help other people, and you criticise a lot, and you look at them through cynical eyes. But the one group you should do that is a religious organisation that you belong to who've told you to be cynical. It's like, be cynical with the world, but not with us. And when you look at those videos now, as somebody who's been away from it for so long, I look at those videos and I just think to myself, oh my God, what has happened to that organisation I belong to? And I would actually think, and this is what I ponder on whenever I see these videos, is what would I think if I was still a Jehovah's Witness and I was still in the organisation, and then I had to log into JW.org and watch some of these music videos? What would that person be thinking now? And that's a worry. Would I be swallowed into it thinking, this is absolutely fantastic, it's a lovely provision from Jehovah? Or would I look at it as I do now thinking, that is absolutely crass, it's awful, it's just, everything that I don't want my religion to be, or my faith to be? Anyhow, that's my tuppence halfpenny's worth on the worst thing about leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, and what I think about where the organisation is today. You may have different opinions on that, and some of them may be completely in opposition to what I say, but anyhow, it's a free world. You can comment as you like and watch as you like. I've got, as you know, I've been on a break for a few months, but as of course the weather gets worse, as things obviously get poor, I'll go back to, as I was meaning to do, was actually going through different Bible stories to go, how in God's name did we believe that at the time, to just enforce the fact that we should really reject the message of the book of the Bible, because it's an awful message when you actually get to the roots of what's going on in there. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to off, and I think I need a drink because it's boiling. Anyway, see you later, bye.